We're back. We're doing something that we haven't really done all that much of in a long time. We're going to do some booster pack openings. Yeah, it's been a little while since we've opened some boosters, man. And I figured, Halloween's coming up around the corner here, and I got an absolute truckload of these 2024 Pokemon booster packs. I was able to find just a massive amount of these. I think it was around Christmas time last year. There was a local store here that was just clearancing them out, and they had, no joke, like 20 packages of these things. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe each pack came with, I think it was either 40 or 50 packs of these little miniature booster packs here. They get 3 cards in each of them, and so I just bought all of them. So I have a massive amount of these packs. So yeah, we're going to open them up, and we're going to have a little fun. And of course, this is from an older set from last year. This isn't from the newest set. But I figure, hey, let's open some boosters, see what we can get. I guess we can see if we're going to go and have some good luck here getting the Pikachu, because honestly, the Pikachu card that comes in these is probably the most expensive card in the set, which is not really saying a lot. Because, yeah, this set, although it does have some interesting pulls in it, the most valued card is going to be that Pikachu, which unfortunately is only going for about 35 cents right now, so... yeah, we're not exactly talking about some high value cards here, so I'm not too worried if we're gonna get something or not. I mean, I have all these packs; they're just sitting here, so I figured let's go ahead and grab like a handful. And oh, look at that, we did get a Mimikyu. We'll see if we could open a handful of these packs and get a few Pikachus, because like I said, that one at time of recording is the most expensive card. Because, of course, it's Pikachu. There are a few others that do have some pretty decent value, being the Mimikyu and the Gengar. These, I've both sold a good amount of these, so they are at least popular. I think the Gengar at one point was going for about 38 cents, and I believe the Mimikyu is going for about the same, but both of these, I think, have dropped in price. I think this one's like 30 cents, and I think this one's about the same. I did sell a Pikachu the other day, and I noticed it was 35 cents. So I was like, well, there you go. That's where it's coming from. The Houndoom sells pretty well, too. But, yeah, just because they sell doesn't necessarily mean that they are going for a whole bunch of money. I think that Houndoom is something like 7 cents. I think that Spectrier was like maybe a dime. Yeah, these are just... the set itself is, it's very much a novelty set. You're not going to get a ton of value. Hey, look at that. We did get a Pikachu. So we got one Pikachu there. But yeah, if you do happen to find these out there in the wild, you're not going to get rich opening these booster packs. You're really not. There just simply isn't a huge, card out there that's really selling for a whole lot. That one I think was selling for like 15 cents. Yeah, so not something super expensive in these. Another Chandelure. Man, I got so many of those Chandelures. Because when I bought that bulk lot that I found at that store. What am I doing? There we go. When I found that bulk lot, I did open something like 200 packs and put them on the store. So I had a pretty good idea of what they were worth. That's a common that actually sells really well. And yeah, there was nothing really terribly expensive. Now, I did still eventually make money because, again, when I was buying these from that store that was clearancing them, they were only, I think, $4 for like 40. It was either 40 or 50 packs. Again, I forget. I think it's 40. But still, when you're paying 10 cents a pack for these cards, kind of hard to pass that up. Just let them sit on the shelf for a little while. There's another Gengar. Let them sit on the shelf for a little while. Hopefully they'll gain a bit more value. They haven't really gained a ton of value in the year that I've had them, so I figured let's go ahead and just start cracking a few packs. It's been a little while. I haven't really been buying a lot of product lately. I've been concentrating mostly on the reviews and such for the channel. So I figure for all the old school Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! And Magic people that used to come here and check me out for my booster pack openings, now I'll give you all a little something here because it's been a little bit. So far, we've only got the one Pikachu. We do have a couple of Gengars and a couple of Mimikyus, so that's not bad. Another Houndstone. That's another card I seem to just get a ton of. I don't know why. Just one of the more common ones. I'd like to get at least 4 Pikachus out of these. It'd be really nice to get at least that. Hey, look at that. We did just get another Pikachu. Nice. So, yeah. I guess we'll consider this opening a fairly decent success if I'm able to get 4 Pikachus. If I get anything more than that, great. If not, gosh, another Chandelure. I think that's 4 of those now. But, you know, I'm seeing here very easily that certain cards are just super easy to get. What is it? Runrigish. That one's not too easy to come by, but it does sell a lot. This one right here. Of all the commons, I think this is the one that usually sells out pretty darn quick. Whenever I put them on, they only stay on the store for maybe a couple of days and then somebody buys it. So I think that's probably the one that, the one common of the set that always sells. Some of the other commons, I've got literally like 50, 60 of them in stock, and they simply just don't sell. Nobody wants them. Poor cards. But yeah, the Gengar, the Mimikyus, the Pikachus, and this guy right here. There's also one other one. I want to say it's Lycanroc? Yeah, I think it's Lycanroc is that other common that sells pretty well. Now, the only thing about that... Wow, so many of those Chandelures. The only thing about that Lycanroc is that although it sells, it doesn't sell for very much. I want to say it sells for about 8 cents at time of filming. So, whereas it does move, simply just not making any money off of it. Yeah, at this point... Oh, wow, there's another Houndoom. At this point, I've found in this past year, which this year, as far as selling cards for me, has been probably the worst year I've had since I started selling on TCG Player. Oh, another Houndoom. Since I started selling on TCG Player. This has been the slowest one. A couple of reasons for that. One, sealed product has just gotten ridiculously expensive. Even if I'm ordering directly, like pre-ordering and whatnot, they're just so expensive nowadays. It makes no sense for me to go and drop, say, you know, on average $5 for a pack of, say, Pokemon cards, open the pack, you know, even for a video or something, and get maybe, there's another address, get maybe 75 cents of value out of each pack. It just doesn't make any sense. So, like, if I were to buy, say, a booster box, you better hope you get a hit out of that box, because if you don't, you could end up being down so much money. There's another Lycanroc. We'll start tracking the Lycanrocs too. Because that's the one thing, is I know there are some very valuable Pokemon cards, especially out of the newer sets that have come out, but I've lost so much interest in it that I just kind of have put it on the back burner and not really concentrated. So I'm not buying and opening any new product, so I don't have a lot of new product to stick on the store, so therefore people aren't going to... Look at that, we've got a Lycanroc and a Pikachu. So people aren't actually going to the store to really buy as much, because a lot of the stuff that I have, I do still have some good stock, but it's a lot of older stuff. And of course people are going nuts over some of this newer stuff. But yeah, like I said, I can't see myself paying as much as some of these places are asking for, like ETBs. Remember when Elite Trainer boxes were like $40? Yeah, those days are over. Those days are long gone. I have not been able to find a $40 Elite Trainer... God, come on, open. I have not been able to find a $40 Elite Trainer box in like 2 years. It's kind of nuts. That price is now gone. Every place I go, be it, you know, Targets and Walmarts, and sometimes even just looking around online at the stores, the cheapest I've been able to find is maybe $50, which I think is overpriced given what you get. But most of the time, especially places like Target, they usually want $55, which I feel is just too much. You're just... The value simply isn't there. Again, you open those... What are they... How many packs do you get in there nowadays? 10 packs? You open the 10 packs, and if you're lucky, you get maybe $20 of value out of that. And then, of course, you get the, you know, the extra stuff, the sleeves, and I believe you also get the dividers, and then you get usually a specialty card that comes with it. But even with all that extra value that comes as far as product, it's simply not worth $55. There's no break-even point there. So, yeah, it's either you open and you get very, very lucky and you get like $100 hit, or you basically walk away having lost money. Gosh, will you just open, please? There we go. You walk away having lost money, and I just got sick of having that happen, you know? Some people are like, well, you should just hold on to them and then you can resell them later. Yeah, I get that, but I have a store, you know? I have a store, and singles are a huge part of that business. And if I'm not selling singles, you know, it doesn't make any sense for me to even have a store, because then yes, I may be able to buy an Elite Trainer box for $55 now, and if I'm lucky, the value may go up a bit, say, in 5 years, but I can't sit on stuff for 5 years anymore. I'm a store. I've got to have cash flow. I've got to have some money coming in. I can't just go and invest, $10,000 on a whole bunch of various Elite Trainer boxes and other products like that and just sit on them for 5 years. I just can't do that. Because, when you do that, it's basically an investment at that point. Another Pikachu. Look at that. We've got 4 now. All right. We've hit that threshold there. Pretty good. So we may actually get a 5th Pikachu. That's awesome. But as I was saying, I can't just sit back and not have cash coming in, because if I basically take that $10,000 and invest it and sit on all that product, hoping that it may go up in a couple of years, there's no guarantee that it will. And even then, if for instance, if a $55 ETB today is worth, say, $75 or $80 in the future, there's still a lot of other stuff that I have to deal with. If I sell it online, that means I have to ship it. So that's going to cost me money. And if I'm selling it online, I'm selling it either on eBay or on TCG Player. And of course, they're going to get their cut. So even if I sell it for, say, 80 bucks, sell it for 80 bucks, TCG Player gets their, 20 to 30% depending on how their calculation is run. So they're going to take a good chunk of that money away, and then I still have to ship it. So that's going to be at least another, $8 or so to ship that thing. Plus, I've still got expensive. I got to get the box for it. I've got to make sure it's properly protected. And there goes all the, extra value that I sat on 2 years hoping that it would earn. So when everything is said and done, when you take out, the fees, either be it eBay fees and shipping fees and the cost that I'm going to have to absorb because I have to buy a box to ship it in and all that, all the packaging and whatnot, I'm right back down to making about $55. So it doesn't make any sense to me to do that. That's why most people, when they buy ETBs nowadays, unless they're actually just collecting to collect, and some people do buy the ETBs and they get like one of each and then they just stick them in a closet and leave them there forever, which is fine. But that's not what I'm doing. I'm a store, gotta have money coming in. I can't just, like I said, I can't keep sitting on product. So yeah, it doesn't make any sense to me to go and pay $55 for an ETB, sit on it for 2 years, sell it for 80, but then all that profit is gone when I have to pay for listing fees and TCG Player fees, PayPal fees, shipping fees. It eats into all of that. So yeah, that's why I've not been doing it. It's just simply too expensive. The only thing you can really do, like I said, wow, there's our 5th Pikachu. Look at that. The only thing you can really do is, just if I go and I buy an ETB, like if I open more ETBs in the future on this channel, they're going to be just so I can open them and make videos for them. If I happen to get a big hit, awesome. If not, well, that's kind of the cost, right? There's another Lycanroc. Man, these Lycanrocs really are kind of rare, aren't they? Unless I've been getting some and not really been paying attention because I'm talking so much. How many packs do we have left? Let's see, 3, 6. Okay, we got 8 packs left. I don't even know how many packs I've opened here. How many packs have we opened, guys? I've not been counting. Yeah, I have no clue how many packs I'm opening. It's just me talking and... Hey, look at that. Another Pikachu. Awesome. Did we get... Okay. Yeah, so we got a ton of Pikachus here. We're going to have lots and lots of Pikachus to go on the store, so that's good. Come on, maybe... Can we get a 7th Pikachu? Can we get a 7th? Oh, we did get another Gengar. Nice. All right. Let's see. Come on. Get one more Pikachu. We've already hit the mark as far as what we were wanting to get. There's another Spectrier. Yeah, we did hit the mark as far as how many Pikachus we wanted to get. We already blasted past that. And again, this was totally random. I just pulled a chunk of these packs out. I have a whole, like, kind of a box where I opened up the packaging, and then I have this whole box just of packs that are all stacked up against each other, and I just leave them in there. And what I was doing is, as I was selling through these on the store, because like I said, I did open a bunch of these when I first got them, listed them, and as I sell through them, if I see a couple of cards go out of stock, I'll grab another handful of these, and I'll open more, and then I'll just stick those on the store too. And that's what I've been doing this whole last year. But yeah, like I was saying, I wish I could continue to do the ETBs, but they're simply just not profitable. at least the way that it's done right now. And they're just not going to be profitable. I could try to take them and buy them in bulk. But usually, if you're going to be buying in bulk, you want to get more than a case. Because even if you buy a case, say for instance, like I said, the regular retail price of these is about $55 now. If I buy a case of these, the broken down price per ETB at that point is still about $50. So I would still have to sell them. And then, of course, continue to pay the eBay fees and the TCG player fees and shipping. And when you take all that into account, I'll net maybe $44, maybe. And so I'll end up losing money on all of it. Yeah, real shame. But yeah, let's see what we got here. We got ourselves, let me see, 2, 4, we got 6 Gengars. What do we got here? 3, 6, 7 Mimikyus, 6 Pikachus. We only got 3 Lycanrocs. Look at that. Yeah, and only, okay, we did get 3 of these. Did I get more of these and just not notice? I don't think I did. But yeah, I think that's why this particular card, this one for sure, it seems to be a little more sought after because it actually is a bit harder to get. I mean, we opened a good number of packs here, and I'm pretty sure this is all we got. Yeah, I'm going to go through them all here real quick, as quickly as I can, but I think we really did only get 3 of each of those, which is kind of wild because the Pikachu, from what I've seen, is generally pretty hard to get. As you can see, we only got 6 out of these, so it's kind of wild that a common card, such as the Lycanroc or the Galarian thingy, is that much harder to get. You just don't see that very often, but, you know, yeah, I'm not showing any others here. Get some Litwicks in there. Delmise. Yeah, that's it. Okay, so that's kind of wild. So we got 6 Pikachus, but only 3 of these, only 3 Lycanrocs, 6 Gengars, and 7 Mimikyus. So I guess this was a fairly successful opening as far as what we were looking to get. Yeah, anyways, thanks for checking out the video, guys. All this stuff will be going up on my store pretty soon. So the link in the description does lead you directly to my store. So if you wanted to purchase any cards from me, you're more than welcome to. Again, these are all generally not very expensive cards. Like I said, this one I believe is the most expensive at about 35 cents or so at time of filming. This one I believe was about 8 to 10 cents. So this one I think is like 20 cents maybe. And this one I think is like 30, and this one is like 25 or so. Something like that. Anyways, thanks for checking out the video, guys. I really appreciate it. Hope you all enjoyed the opening. We'll see you next time.